And then the last thing I want to cover is a VPN over an open wireless. All right, so we're sitting in a coffee shop, let's say, and you might think to yourself, well, I'm on an open network. We already know that it's insecure. We already know that somebody can sniff the network with a packet sniffer if they have the right set of tools. It's probably not that good of an idea for me to use a VPN and connect to my work and or some remote site and transmit anything that's sensitive. Well, the reality is it actually is very well suited to that type of environment. It's actually your best bet. So a VPN, basically what it does, as we know, as we talked about before, it establishes a secure tunnel and a secure connection, encrypts that connection, so it allows for secure browsing, the connection to your remote office, or whatever it is that you need to connect to. So a VPN can be established at either the data link layer or the network layer, and it can use either IPsec or SSL. So it allows us to establish that secure connection and browse in an insecure environment. All right, so as we talked about before, okay, here's an example. We have our client. The client will connect to the ISP or authenticate. Again, if you're in a coffee shop, you're connecting to their wireless access point. You're going to go over the internet to connect to some remote resource. Well, in a VPN example, you would establish that tunnel, and then once that tunnel is established, you would have an encrypted connection or VPN connection that will go through that tunnel. So anyone that sits in that coffee shop or sits out in the parking lot or does whatever to monitor your network traffic, all they're going to see is that encrypted communication. So it's going to prevent them from accessing that sensitive information or having access to basically what you're doing. So a VPN is very well suited to those insecure environments. Okay, in this module on wireless security, we covered a number of objectives, again, relating to wireless networking security issues. We covered the various protocols that were going to be in use, WPA, WPA2, and of course WEP, WPA2 being the most secure. We talked about EAP, or Extensible Authentication Protocol, and the two that we need to be aware of out of the five that exist, or the five extensions rather, and that is PEEP and LEAP, with LEAP being deprecated, PEEP being the preferred, okay, the most secure. And then we talked about MAC filtering. Basically, we want to kind of predetermine what MAC addresses can connect to our wireless network. So by using a MAC filter, we prevent people from just arbitrarily connecting to our network if they're not already in. But we also know that, again, that's vulnerable to MAC spoofing. Disabling the SSID broadcast, what that is and why it's really not secure at all. You talked about TKIP and CCMP and how they extend security for WPA and WPA2. We talked about antenna placement and power controls and how those things all kind of fit in to make sure that we have optimal placement and don't necessarily have our wireless signal leak into areas where we don't really want it to, and how site surveys can be used to help us basically get optimal antenna placement, but it can also be used by hackers to kind of survey the area and let other people know, hey, there's a wireless network here, here's the SSID, and here's the bandwidth and so forth. Then we talked about captive portals, how we can be in an open or an unsecure wireless network, and we can be prompted for credentials and, of course, security vulnerabilities that exist with that. And then we talked about VPNs over that open wireless network and why that is still a preferred choice and really our best bet for maintaining security when we're operating in an insecure environment. So I hope this module has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you very much for watching.